Hi guys, welcome to another Buzzin chat show here today, and as you can see, it's a lovely cool morning behind me. I thought I'd take the opportunity to get out here with the cockerels and the chickens while they're crowing and stuff in the background and avoid what's been a really hot time at the moment. So I thought, well, let's get out here early doors and let's do the chat show while it's nice and cool. Now, before we get into today's questions, we've got some really good questions. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. And guys, if you do have a question that you want me to explain in more detail and spend some time talking about, please drop me a comment below, 247pattaya@gmail.com. You can email me or just drop a comment in the description of the video and I will pick that up and obviously put them all together and come back to you with some in-depth discussions. All right, now, before we get into the show, I just want to say to you guys, please, if you haven't already, join our Discord group, okay? There's a link in the description below. Pop over there. It's a live forum. It's a live chat forum. So it's not like the forums where you write a message, send it, and it just sits there and when you wait for people to reply. This one's a live one where basically everybody that's online at the time will see the message ping up and they reply to you instantly, and myself included when I'm on there. So please join it. There is a link in the description below. Check it out. Have a look. It really is good fun. There's lots of sections. We've got like a general chat where you can talk about everything and anything. But if you want to drill down into specifics, maybe like into the bar scene or maybe girls or maybe restaurants or hotels, whatever, there are separate chat rooms you can go into and get the information you're looking for. So please have a look. And as I say, it's in the description below. Please check it out. All right, so today's questions. Yeah, we've got some good questions today. So Nick's going to start the questions off with these questions. It says, why are Thai men not allowed in a lot of the places in the nightlife here? And to be fair to you, Nick, I mean, yeah, it's a good question. The reason being, generally speaking, is because you don't know if the girls that are working inside these places, their boyfriends are aware. You don't know what's going on. You know, don't forget, some of these girls say to their boyfriends that they're working in a restaurant when really they may be just actually working in an agogo bar or a beer bar, whatever. So there is that kind of aspect where, you know, we don't want you as a customer to be put in a compromising position, particularly with a Thai person, because, you know, listen, we're all the same, okay? I'm not going to stereotype the Thai men, but they are very animated. They can be very physical very quickly in a discussion or an argument. And of course, you know, the other side of the coin is if you're outside in the street and there happens to be an altercation, it's not unknown, should I say, for other Thai people that perhaps aren't involved in that confrontation or that discussion to suddenly become involved. Particularly if, you know, so if it's a European, a Westerner is arguing with a Thai man, it can get very difficult. So what they tend to do is they tend to keep them out of the bars. Generally speaking, not many Thai people are allowed in unless, you know, the bar know them very well. Oh, hang on, was that a little penis coming past? Oh no, he's getting there. He's got a semi. So yeah, basically, They tried to keep them out of the bars just to avoid confrontations, jealousy, drunkenness, all the kind of things, you know, that they don't really want to have to deal with. And I'm not saying that we're any different, because let's face it, if you go in a bar and you get drunk or whatever, you know, we've all had our days. But in general speaking, they try not to tend to mix the two. Having said that, there's a lot of Thai clubs where we can go and we're welcomed. So, you know, it's a bit of a weird one really in many respects, because, you know, you can go into like Bone nightclub, for instance. You know, Bone nightclub is over there by Terminal 21, brilliant club. I mean, wow. And it's very, very busy, but you're welcome. You know, as a foreigner, you are welcome to go into the clubs and there's never any issues. The only issue you might face is you'll be paying for the rounds. But, you know, in general speaking, you can go to these places and you are more than welcome. There's a lot of clubs down on South Pattaya Road. I've mentioned those in previous videos. Now, if you go up there at night time, once things resume back to normality, my Lord, they're heaving. You know, they're busy, live music, food, drinking, etc., etc. So, you know, there are opportunities for you to go and mix with the Thais, but generally speaking, in terms of the agogo bars, it's not very popular that they're allowed. Well, it's not popular. That's a rubbish way of saying it. It's not very often you will find them in there, and generally speaking, the Thai people that are allowed into these clubs are normally known by the management and by the owners. And regarding the nightclubs, you know, like Lucifer's, Candy Shop, you know, all those kind of places, again, it's kind of hit and miss. Do you know what I mean? It really is. But in answer to your question, The main reason is to avoid any possible problems with the Thai girl and the Thai guy that maybe could present itself. So that's pretty much the reason why. But listen, don't let it worry you. Go out, have a great time. Once things resume, go out, enjoy yourself. Don't worry about it. You know, it really is not an issue. Paolo, now Paolo, you're touching on a subject that's very dear to my heart, because you've asked, do the dogs get treated badly here? Now, I am an animal lover. I make no bones about it. I'm not ashamed. I love my dogs. I love animals. I think they're incredible. And I think as human beings, we could learn a lot from animals. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point being is, there are a lot of soy dogs around here. And listen, guys, if you are an animal lover and you come out here for the first time, or maybe the second time, whatever, you're quite new to the area, I would suggest, quite honestly, please, no matter how much you want to engage with the dogs, be very, very careful, because the soy dogs, the street dogs, you know, they have to fend for themselves. They rely on scraps and for people giving them food, etc. But they've also been subject to, you know, angry people, and you know, it's difficult because they can lead a very troublesome lifestyle on the streets, and they can be subjected to abuse. You know, if they're in someone's way, you know, people can be quite cruel at times, which is a shame. So obviously the dogs are on their guard, and you know, it needs to be something you need to be aware of. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend you walk straight up and try and stroke a dog. You know, don't forget, the first three things we do as human beings are the worst three things you could ever do to a dog. And I was taught this by a very good friend of mine who was a police dog handler, and he said the first thing you do is you walk up to a dog and you look at the dog. So you're confrontational, you know, eye to eye, you're staring at the dog, and you most times, pretty much every time, you're looking either at eye level if you've knelt down, or you're looking down at the dog. So it's a very threatening stance. The second thing you do is you smile. Now, to us, we're smiling because we're happy, but when you show your teeth in the dog world, that's a really aggressive statement. You know, you're saying to the dog, like, I'm ready to growl at you, I'm possibly ready to bite you. And then, of course, what do? So you've looked at the dog, you've smiled at the dog, and you put your hand out to stroke the dog. Well, of course, the dog initiates that you're going to strike it, so therefore it bites you. So the first three things we do to a dog is probably the worst three things you could ever do to a dog, but it's natural. So if you do see a soy dog, you know, stay away, maybe put some food on the floor and walk away. The dog will soon come to the food if that's what you want to do, don't worry. Likewise, if you want to put a little cup of water down or things like that. But I would say really and truly be very, very careful if you look to try and engage with the dogs and stroke them, because they can be quite nippy for obvious reasons, like I've just stated. So, you know, through fear of ruining your holiday or your stay here, I would suggest you probably leave the dogs alone unless you know 100% the dog is a friendly dog. And, you know, if you see a collar on the dog in the streets, it means they're being taken care of. So someone somewhere is taking care of that dog. So, you know, there are a lot of very kind people here, and there's a lot of people that go around the streets specifically just to feed the dogs. So be very, you know, very calm in the fact that they're not on their own, but be very, very careful, because, you know, you could end up getting bitten. And if you do get bitten, of course, then you've got to go get all your jabs, you've got to go to the hospital, etc., etc. So they don't get treated too badly. You know, obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but in general, as I say, you know, the dogs are okay. Thais are very kind towards animals, so, you know, it's not a massive issue. But please remember, you know, when you look at them, you smile, and then you put your hand out, you're doing the three worst things you could ever do to an animal, and or to a dog, should I say. And please, you know, keep your distance. If you want to feed them, want to give them water, whatever, put it down, walk away. The dog will soon come to the food. And if you are going to feed dogs, especially if they're in packs, try to separate the food, because they will get aggressive and possessive over the food, and then they'll start fighting amongst themselves. So just be aware of that. Okay, now Peter. Peter's asked a question, and it's a good question, Peter. I like this one. It says, can you bar fine a mamasan? And I have to say, I laugh, because you've got a bit of a mix here. Some bars, the mamasan, you wouldn't want to bar fine. And some bars you're thinking, damn, like really? So in answer to your question, what tends to normally happen is, no, you can't bar find her. You know, you can't take the mamasan out of the bar. She's there because she's ultimately the boss. You know, there might be a manager there might be an owner there, but at the end of the day, the mamasan, as far as the girls are concerned, is the boss. The mamasan is the one that takes care of the girls, deals with any issues, you know, dishes out the discipline, the bar fines, all that kind of stuff, and is also the go-to person for the girls. So you can't take her out of the bar, obviously, for obvious reasons. Having said that, you can sit down with her. They will drink with you. You can buy her a drink and she'll get, you know, it's a lady price drink. They will sit and engage you. Don't be offended if they keep getting up to go off and deal with things, because that's just the nature of the game that they're in, and that's what they have to do. They'll be managing the girls, making sure they're dancing at the right times, and the shifts are switching over on the dance floor, etc., etc. Having said that, it's not unusual, and I'm sure probably guys watching this, and you know, if you have, please comment below. You know, it's not unusual for guys to meet up with some of the mamasans after they finish work or on their day offs. On their day off, should I say. So, you know, it's not that you can't engage with the mamasan, but just during working hours, you know, they are just worth their weight in gold, because if there's an issue, it's always the mamasan that takes care, and you know, they can't afford to let that mamasan leave the premises. But after work and on a day off, by all means, you know, you can engage with the mamasan, you buy a few drinks, sit down, have a chat with her, maybe you can exchange your number, whatever. But if you're going to go out thinking you can take her out of the bar, no, it's not going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen. They are worth their weight in gold to the owners and to the managers, because they are like the Cruella de Vil for the girls. They crack the whip, and I tell you, I've seen over the years, oh man, I've seen some brutal mamasans like really dish it out. Not physically, but like, man, they can shout and scream and put you in your place instantly. And yeah, there are. I mean, there used to be one. I won't name the bar because it's not fair. Well, actually, no, I can now because she's not there anymore. But there used to be a mamasan in Touch, and my life, she was like a Rottweiler licking piss off a stinging nettle. She really was. She really was brutal. And you know, I'd walk in and I'd say, "Hi, how are you?" Okay, good. We're in one of those moods again. That's no problem. Can I do the photos? They can. All right, okay. And you know, she was just literally the most unapproachable person in the world. And to be fair, if anyone was to consider taking her out for a bar fight, I'd want to pay for you to go to hospital, get your eyes checked out and your brain sanctioned, because honestly, mate, you know, but she was really, really brutal, you know, and but she's not there anymore, and obviously Touch is no more, so I can say about it. And you know, the daft thing about her was I have met her a few times away from the industry, and she was really nice. You know, she came up to me, "Hi T," and I'm thinking, why are you smiling and saying hello to me? Whenever I used to come in to do the photos, you used to bark and growl at me like a real bad dog, like on you know, PMT. And I'm thinking, what's that all about? Like, and then suddenly she said, "Hi T," and I'm thinking, oh wow. But yeah, so yeah, you can take the girl, you can take the mamasan for a drink. You can buy drinks in the club, but you can't take her at the bar, not during working hours. Ewan, you've asked a question. What are these? Okay, what are the white strings on my wrist? They are called Sai Sin. Sai Sin. Now, basically, you're going to see these for two reasons mainly, and please, if I've got this wrong, correct me, because this is what I understand. Firstly, the main reason, and you'll see a lot of them, you'll see loads, is when someone's got married. And it's basically a blessing, a good luck charm. It's just a way that the Thais believe by putting that around your wrist, particularly if the elders do that. It's to wish you all the best. It's to give you good luck in the future with your new wife, and that's basically why you'll see a lot of people wearing those. And it's, you know, it's just to bless the couple. For me, I have these because when I go to the village elders, I go and see. We call her Nan. She's absolutely lovely. I mentioned her recently in a chat. We call her Nan, but she's like, oh, she's way in her 80s, and oh, bless her, she's lovely. But she's like very, very highly respected in the village amongst all the villagers. And when you go and see her, she does her own little ceremony and blesses you and wishes you good fortune and wishes you good luck and prays for your safety. And it's done because of that. So when I go and see the village, when I go and see the Nan in the village, when I go and see the elders, it's pretty much a given that, you know, I have to sit down and they do their ceremony, and I give her some money to help her for a lifestyle, because obviously she doesn't have any money. And you know what, I've got to be honest with you, when I first came out, if you'd have said to me about all this sort of stuff, I'd have said, you're having a laugh, mate, you know, jog on, I don't believe in all that rubbish. But I did share this with you a while back on one of the live streams, I believe. I don't believe in superstition and stuff like that. It's just not my cup of tea. However, having said that, I was, during the process of doing the YouTube channel and growing the YouTube channel, obviously I applied for monetization with YouTube. And normally it should take a matter of like 3-4 weeks, maybe 6-7 weeks maximum. Well, this had gone on for 12 weeks now. And I'd tried many times, and yeah, just getting nowhere. No card was coming through with my PIN code, so I was really, you know, struggling, to be fair. And I kind of given up hope. I thought, you know what, let's not worry about monetization. I want to do the channel anyway, so let's keep going and let's just do what I'm doing and not worry about it. So anyway, I was at the temple with my missus, with Mo, and Mo was doing her prayers, etc., etc. And we'd just literally gone to see Nan, and Nan put this around my wrist. And we went there anyway. Mo's doing her prayers, and she came back to me and said, "Oh, I want to buy a really big wreath because I've had a good feeling." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, you know, as much as I don't agree with it, I don't disrespect her for it." So I allowed her to do that. Anyway, I paid for it, and she went off and done it. Literally, while she's praying and while Nan had done this blessing for me, a guy called Mike, who's a good friend of mine up in Bangkok, who I'd used his address, rang me up and said, "Hey mate, you're never going to believe this. I've got something you're really going to be happy about. I've only got your card. It's just arrived." And I'm like, really? Like, that's crazy. So, you know, it might be circumstantial, whatever, but yeah, that's how I did it. Anyway, so that's that. So these are called Sai Sin, and they basically are for good luck or if you're getting married. Here comes the train. Oh, yeah, let me show you this actually. There you go. Look over my shoulder. See him? That's the train there. And these guys come through, oh, dozens of them. Look how long it is. Big old boy. And they come through all the time, literally, like, oh, probably get about 20, 25 a day. And there's one in the morning, I'll make a joke of him, but he comes through about 5:05 in the morning. And I'm like, why, dude? There's no one out there. You know, why you just want to wake everybody up? But anyway, so that's the train. Michael, now Michael, you've asked a great question that I actually don't know the answer to this one. So I need your help, guys. Michael's asked the question, how do these soys get their name? Like soy lenki, soy Diana, soy honey, soy pothole, soy bacao. I don't know, it's the honest truth. And I did try Googling it and I couldn't find the answer there. So I truthfully, honestly, I'm really sorry, but I've got to be honest, I don't know the answer. I have no idea how they get these names. I'm guessing maybe it's a nickname. I mean, I'm putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 10 because I'm thinking, well, Mr. Lenki was pretty much responsible for the Lenki area, soy Lenki, soy LK. Maybe he owns more buildings in there and they nicknamed it, oh, like soy LK, Mr. Lenki. I don't know. I mean, soy pothole because, well, it's not actually called soy pothole. We nickname it soy pothole because it's full of holes. You know, you ride along there and it's, you know, it's like being in the Wild West. Ding, 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 ding. So maybe it's more of a nickname because I believe they've actually got proper numbers. But again, I actually don't know the answer. So I'm sorry, Mike, I can't answer that question, but it's a really, really good question. And guys, if you do know the answer, please drop a comment below, you know. Where do these names come from? Like soy honey, soy Diana, soy Lenki, soy bacao, soy pothole. You know, where do these names come from? Is it something that we just invent over time and they've just stuck? Or are they, you know, names that people actually do recognize as an official name? I don't know, guys, sorry, but yeah, please, if you do know, drop a comment below for me. Eddie's asked the question, tag girls, how does it work? So number one is I wouldn't really worry too much in terms of the fact it doesn't affect you as an individual. The girls are in the bars, they're in the bars, that's it. Doesn't matter whether a tag girl, whether an employee, whether a freelancer, they're in the bar. In terms of the tag girls, you know, what happened was that these agencies were formed a few years back now where they went to all the girls, the pretty girls, the girls they perceived to be the ones that would be more attractive to the customers and said, listen, come away from the bar, come and work for us as an agency and we'll get you more money. And then they went back to the bars and realistically blackmailed them, if that's the way I should say it, and saying, look, you know, you've got no girls because we've got them all. Do you want them? And if you do, well, you're going to have to pay a premium to get them back. which was a really, really poor thing for them to do to the bars, and it didn't help the situation. You know, everyone says about how expensive it is. Well, there's a reason why. You know, suddenly they've taken these girls away and then they brought them back under ransom, and so, you know, the bars have got no choice but to pay this extra money, and the way they've got to get that extra money back is by obviously increasing the price of drinks and bar fines, etc. So, and what these tag girls do is they work 10-day contracts. So basically they'll come into the bar, they're guaranteed to be there for 10 days. They won't miss a day because they get paid so much money, so they can't afford to miss a day. And they will be in that bar for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, the contract's finished, and then they go back to the agency and negotiate another contract and go back to the same bar again. And obviously, you know, the bar's point of view, they will expect that agency girl to get a certain amount of drinks, customers, whatever, because they're going to have to pay for that tag. So it is expensive. Having said that, you know, I don't know what the future of the bar scene will be here, whether or not they will continue with the tag agencies. I mean, I've heard rumours that a couple of the agencies have gone bust. Whether or not, you know, it's going to be a really tricky situation moving forwards, because when the bars do reopen, obviously they all need girls, and then the girls are going to be saying, well, hang on, bar number 1 will pay me this, what are you going to pay me? And if you don't pay me that, I'll go to bar number 3 and ask bar number 3 to pay me more than bar number 1. So it's going to be a real interesting way that this pans out, and I don't know what the truthful answer is as to where it's going to end in terms of prices, but I can't for the life of me think of it being a positive, because, you know, let's be honest, if you're a bar and I'm a bar and you need girls and I need girls and there's 2 girls sat there, and well, you're going to say, look, I'll give you this, and I'm going to say, what's he paying you? Or I'll give you a bit more. And then when you go back to her and say, well, are you going to come and work for me? She says, well, no, because Trevor's going to pay me a bit more than what you are. You're going to up your stake because you have to. It's business. So I don't know where this is going to work and how this is going to pan out. It's quite a worry, if I'm being honest, in many respects. But, you know, it is what it is. So we're only going to just have to sit here and see how it happens. But the tag girls, I don't know, maybe every cloud, as they say, has a silver lining. You can see up there's a lot of clouds. So maybe the silver lining here for the bars is that the girls won't necessarily use a tag agency anymore, and maybe the bars will have a bit more free reign and control over the girls that work in their bars, because, you know, it's not a good situation to be in when you're being held to ransom. All right, guys, so that's about it for me today. Hopefully you found this chat interesting. Like I've always say, please, if you do have a question or anything, a topic you want me to talk about, drop the comment below. You know, let me know what you're thinking, and I will happily do my very best to get back to you and to answer that question for you. Not sure about the soy names. You got me. Honestly, I've been looking around, don't know the answer to that one. But hey, you know, that's the way it goes. I don't know everything by a long, long way. All right, so that's it for me, guys. As always, please join our Discord chat group. You know, it really is good. There's a link in the description below. It really is great fun. It's a really good go-to chat area where if you want to find out questions and answers and things and meet other like-minded people, check it out. There's a link there. As always, please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. Guys, check out our members area. More and more members joining each and every week. And what we are doing is, once the bars are going to reopen and the places are going to re-establish themselves, we're going to give them a bit of time. I can't go knocking on their door straight away, but I will come back to you with a lot of member benefits like discounts and stuff in these places. So, you know, if you want to join the channel, please, your support is much appreciated. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching, and please, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.